Welcome back viewers. In the last video we have seen how to check the Docker version and also check the status of the Docker, whether the Docker engine is running in the system or not, and how to initiate the Docker engine and the containers. So container daemon, how to initialize it, everything we have seen in the last video. Now we have to check out how to import a container image inside the Docker and run the container image inside the Docker. So there is a small program. It is run in C, it is made in C. So the hello world spell is a small program which is a C program, and you can import it as an image on your Docker. So it is available as a image, container image on the website of the Docker, and you can pull that container image inside your Docker, install it, and you can run the C program. So whenever you will ping it, it will return hello world to you. So I will just go through the information given here. Now that the Docker is installed, you can use it to download a container image. Container images are lot of like ISOs for virtual machines, except they are usually smaller and easier to build. Download a small hello world container image with the following command. Once the image is downloaded, you can verify by listing the images downloaded on your system using. So you can have multiple images running in a Docker, and you can list all those by using this command sudo docker images. And now you can run any of the container image by giving this command. So in our case, we are going to run the hello world container image that we had imported and installed in our Docker. So let us start. Let us do the execution of this small commands. So first is to pull the hello world container image. So you can see here how the pulling goes about. So how the process is completed. You can see it here. Pulling from the library hello world. So there is a library of different container images. You can also ping. You can also list the library. So it will show you the complete library also here. That we will do in some other video. I think I have shown you how to search for container image in the containers and podman video list. So you can check that out. Once this is done, you can see here the downloaded newer image for the hello world latest. So you can see here it is added to the Docker library. You can see here. So this is from where the hello world has been downloaded and installed inside the Docker. Now we will go back. Now we can check out whether it is there in our Docker or not. So if this image is installed in our Docker, so here you can see the hello world has been added to the Docker repository. This is the local repository. You can see the tag. So it is the latest version. Image ID is also given, created 7 months ago, and the size is 13.3 KB. So it is very small, light C program. So it gives you the tag ID, creation date, and size of the Docker container that we just pulled from the Docker library on the server. So from server, it is now inside the Docker on your system. Next step is to run this command or run this Docker image. You have to copy paste this. So let it run. Now you can see here, you will receive a reply from the Docker, hello from the Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. To generate this image, Docker took the following steps. So this is very interesting for the viewers who want to learn about Dockers. The Docker client contacted the Docker daemon. The Docker daemon pulled the hello world image from the Docker hub. That is the 64-bit hub. So this image is 64-bit. Our Docker that we installed, the complete Docker application is 64-bit. Client server both are 64-bit. The Docker daemon created a new container from that here. So using this, if the image is not already created, it will create the hello world image, container image inside the Docker. So earlier we had just pulled the Docker hello world image from the server, it was there lying on our virtual machine. It was not installed, but when we did this command, that is sudo docker run. So run command will install the docker image if is not already installed. And if the docker that is container image is already installed inside the docker, it will just execute that container image will start, and it will give the output. So in our case, the hello world container image was downloaded from the server, pulled from the server, and it was lying there on the virtual machine. It was not installed. But when we run this command sudo docker run, the hello world image container image was first installed, and then it was run, and it gave the output that is hello from the docker. You can see it here. The Docker daemon created a new container from that image which runs the executable that produces the output you are currently reading. So this is the output, hello from the Docker. The Docker daemon streamed that output to the Docker client. So we get this output from the Docker client. So Docker client will contact the Docker daemon. Docker daemon in turn will contact the Docker server. So the server and client are installed on your system. So it is a server client application. And once the Docker server is contacted, it will check for the container image. If the container image is not there, it will install the container image that was downloaded and which was specified in this command. So hello world was specified in our command. So the hello world got installed by the Docker server. Then Docker server executed that container image. So the output of the container image was passed on to the Docker daemon first. The Docker daemon then took that output and passed it on to the Docker client. Then the Docker client displayed that command, that output of the hello world container image program. That is a small C program, and the message was displayed here, that is hello from the world. So it is this complete server client we can say architecture that is there in the Docker. So Docker is a server client type of architecture where the user will communicate to the Docker server using the Docker client, and the Docker daemon is there. It is a kind of broker between the client and server, and the Docker this container images or Docker images run in the Docker server on your system. So whenever you want to do any operations on the container image, you have to use the Docker client, which will communicate with the Docker daemon. Docker daemon in turn will communicate with the server. Server will execute your operations on the container image, and the container images will return the output. So it can be any output. It can be error output. It can be a you can say usable output, and that output is again passed in the reverse direction from the container image to the this Docker server, from Docker server to the Docker daemon, and Docker daemon will then pass on the output of the container to the user via the Docker client. So this is how it works. I think I made it clear. It is very simple. If you understand this, then you can go further, install complex container images, and then you can be master of the Dockers. So on this note, I will stop the video here. See you in the next video. Bye bye.